Hello you two and welcome to your comprehension session for Monday the 8th of February. So we're starting a new week, our final week before half term. So we get 1 week off learning next week because it is our half term week, the week when we would not normally be in school anyway. And we've only got a few texts left in our comprehension book. So we're going to finish those off this week. We're going to end the week doing a little bit of writing. And then after half term, we've got a brand new comprehension book to go through. Okay, so Monday the 8th of February, let's look at our learning question and our question types for today. Okay, can I answer questions on a newspaper article? So we've got a new type of text today that we haven't had before. We've got a newspaper article. I bet you have seen some newspapers at your house. Probably, I bet your grown-up has sometimes had newspapers in the house you might have seen. So you might want to pause the video now. Have a little chat with your grown-up about newspaper articles. What sorts of things might they be about? What sorts of things might you read about? What kind of features do they have? What do they look like even? How are they written? So if you would like to have a little chat with your grown-up, maybe if you've got a newspaper in your house, you might want to go and get it now and have a little look through it with your grown-up. Don't worry if not, okay? So newspaper articles then are stories that have been written but about real things, okay? So they are facts, they are factual, but they do sometimes have people's opinions in as well, but they're written about things that have actually happened. Sometimes you might have local newspapers, so that will be full of things that have happened near to where you live. But then sometimes you can get national newspapers where you can read about things that have happened all over the world, and it's things that are news. So it's news from around the world. Sometimes you can watch news on the television. Sometimes you can read about news in a newspaper article. So our questions today are going to be some retrieval questions. We're going to skim and scan through the text to find our answers and pick them out. We are going to need to do a little bit of inference today. We are going to need to spot some clues in the text that will help us to think about the answer. We have got to think today a little bit about the vocabulary, so the words that have been written in that newspaper article. And we have got a question today where we need to give our opinion about something. So obviously that kind of question will not have the answer in the text because that is our opinion. That is personal to us and what we think. Okay, let's see. Our newspaper article is called at the top Slippers at School. And the top of our page has got a question mark at the end. Slippers at school? That sounds a bit strange, doesn't it? I'm at school now and I don't have my slippers on. When you come to school, do you have your slippers on? No, you don't, do you? You have your smart school shoes. At the bottom of our text today, it says an abridged article, and that just means part of an article. A little bit like we said with the story, we had an extract. So it's not the whole article, we've been given part of it. And it's come from theguardian.com, which is a website for the Guardian newspaper. So you can buy a newspaper to flick through and read, but sometimes you can get newspapers which have a website and you can read the articles on there. So it's come from the Guardian website and it's a shortened version of this article. Okay, slippers at school. Now, we're going to think about some features of a newspaper report, a newspaper article. So a newspaper article always starts with a headline, and a headline is a little bit like the title. It's normally in very, very big writing. And it's to get your attention, it's to grab you and make you want to read that story, that article. It is organised into paragraphs. It's in past tense because it's writing about things that have already happened. There are facts in the newspaper article, so it's real events, real stories, real news. So we have facts in there, but there are also opinions. And we have opinions in a newspaper article, sometimes in the forms of quotes. So sometimes the people who are writing the newspaper article will interview people and they will ask what they think about something, or they will ask what it was like, and then they will use quotes. So they might say, Mrs. McNulty said, and then they will give a quote about what the person has said about whatever the article is about. So facts, but also some opinions as well. Okay. Now, got some tricky words. Have a little look at first. That one is tricky word 1. Oh, this one, my phonics set. We have had that tricky word recently. That word is thought. That word is thought. So we've got, and then O-U-G-H makes the O sound at the end. Thought, what someone is thinking or has been thinking. We know that one. That one is school, isn't it? School. Again, my phonics set, we thought about CH making the K sound. That one is school. We've had that one already because we know our article is about slippers at school today. Okay. Just a quick reminder then about our chunky monkey helping us to do those unfamiliar words. Now, when I looked at the text for the first time, I thought, goodness me, there are lots of long words that might be unfamiliar to the children. And there are lots of words with suffixes. Tell your grown-up where we have suffixes. My phonics set, we're thinking about suffixes for the rest of the week, so this is a good start to your phonics. So there are lots of longer words that you might need to look the chunks in, break into syllables, think about the suffixes at the end. There are quite a lot of tricky, long, unfamiliar words today. Now, this is one of them. This is one of the words. We are going to think about how to read this word using chunking, but we're also going to talk about what it means as well, okay? So I've got ack, aka, dem, dem, ick. Academic. We can put it all together. So we do it, we read a chunk at a time, and then we put all of the chunks together. Academic. You might have heard that word before, but if you haven't, we're going to talk about what it means. When we think about things that are academic, we're thinking about learning and results and your education. So it's things to do with school. So if we are talking about how you are getting on academically at school, we're thinking about how you are getting on with your learning. So the word academic is linked to learning in school. So if you are very good academically, it means you are very good at your learning. So academic means link to learning and link to your education. Okay. We could also have a little look, remember, if there's any, because there might be some unfamiliar words that you come across today. Remember, you can have a go. We go on Kids Dictionary. Have a little look. We've used the Britannica one before, haven't we? And we can have a check. So search in the dictionary, academic. You might want to do this with some of the words you've come across today if you're not sure about them. So academic means relating to school or college. Okay, so relating to school or college. So thinking about learning, thinking about school and education. Okay, we might need that word for one of our questions maybe a little bit later. Okay, now we've got some suffixes to have a think about. One suffix is ing, so some words have ing added to the end of them, and some words have ed added to the end of them. There are quite a lot of them in this text today. So your first job, what I would like you to do first, I'm going to give you a little activity. I want you to have a look at the text. I'll show you the page of in a minute. And I want you to go through with your whiteboard and pen. See if you can write down some of the longer words that might have ing and ed at the end, and see if you can use your chunking method to read them. Okay, so there are quite a lot of tricky ones, and then we'll go over it because I'm going to read it to you today. I want you to get your whiteboard and pen, have a little look, skim, read through the text, see if you can spot any words ending with the suffix ing or ed. Copy them down on your board and see if you can be able to read them. Okay, our text today on page 28. So give the video a pause, have a little look through at page 28, thinking about those suffix words. There are quite a lot of them. You don't need to write all of them down, but see if you can spot a few longer words with suffixes at the end. See if you can break them up so that you can read them. Okay, first job. Okay, here are some words that you might have come across then. Don't worry if you didn't. If you did, you might have come across these ones, and if you were able to read them, super job, because they are really quite difficult today. Okay, this word then, so it ends in the suffix ed. So we've got N, that's the first part, N. Now, O and U in this word makes an up sound again. N, K, O, encourage. That's a hard one. That was so hard. Encouraged. Encouraged. So it's got G making the J sound. Encouraged. If you encourage someone, it means you are getting them to go along with it and do it. So if Mrs. McNulty is encouraging you to do your work and saying, come on, let's get our work done, you can do it, it means I am wanting you to do it and I'm trying to get you to do it. If you have encouraged someone, it means you've tried to get them along to do something. Okay, that was a hard one. You might have come across this one. Now this one has got an ooh sound in the middle, so it is could have a little blend there, couldn't we? Actually, I think we would maybe have a little bit of a blend there. I'm going to change my mind when I'm reading that one. I'm going to do first. Improved. Improved. That was a hard one because this could have looked like a split digraph O sound. That was quite tricky. Improved. If something has improved, it has got better, hasn't it? We improve something, we make it better. A hard one. And it's sort of ed at the end. These are really hard. Introduced. Introduced. If you introduce something, it means you bring it in. So if you introduce someone to someone else, you might introduce them and say who they are. Or if you introduce something into a new place or you introduce a new rule, it means you bring in a new rule or a new idea when something is new. You do it for the first time. Hi, this one's a hard one because these G's make the J sound. Suggest. Suggested. If you suggest something, you offer it up. So you might say, oh, Mrs. McNulty suggested that we could go to the village. Suggested. You bring up an idea. You've suggested something. Okay, we're going to have a little read now. There might be some other words you've come across that are tricky, okay? But I would like you to have a little go as best you can with your grown-up to have a read of page 28, and then we are going to have a think about some of the questions. So you have a little read. Now you've spotted some of those tricky words, and then I will give it a little read after. Okay, so pause the video, you try and have a read, you found some of those tricky words, we know lots and lots of strategies, and then we can listen to it being read after. Okay. Right, let's see. So we've got our headline at the start. Our headline is primary school encourages, we've got that same word we had earlier, but encourages pupils to wear slippers in class. So it's the school's idea, and the school is encouraging the pupils. The school want the pupils to wear their slippers in school. Children at an East Midlands primary school are being encouraged to wear slippers in class. Findon Primary in Derby introduced the idea, so they brought in a new idea, after one of the teachers came across research that found the relaxed approach to footwear improved academic results. So a teacher has found some research that said the children wear slippers in school. It improved academic results. What did we say academic meant? It meant linking to school and learning, didn't it? So it improved the children's results at school. Their learning was better because they were wearing their slippers. Move it up a little bit. Michelle Hall, Findon's deputy head, said, and we've got our speech marks, our inverted commas. So this is a quote from the deputy head. It was suggested by one of the teachers after seeing some research that wearing slippers can improve children's grades. And grades is like another word for levels at school. So your grade is what level you're working at. We pitched the idea to the pupils. We pitched the idea for the pupils. We're going to need that phrase later. And they were very excited. It's been a huge success so far. And even staff are wearing their slippers in the classroom too. Wow. Our pupils have always been well behaved, but we've noticed, that was another ED word, noticed. Notice some changes. There is less stomping around and children are calmer and more relaxed. They love it. And that bit had inverted commas around as well, so that was another quote. Maisie Futcher, a pupil, thought it was a great idea with those inverted commas round. So that must have been a quote from one of the pupils. The 10-year-old added, I love wearing my slippers at home, so it's nice being able to wear them in school. It makes me feel relaxed and helps me to learn. There we go, there's the end of our article. Okay. Sure, you did a great job of reading it as well. So let's go over our questions for today. The first one then is a retrieval question. But it's a retrieval question which we call a multiple choice question because we have got 3 options for the answers and all we've got to do is to tick one. Okay? So it says, why do the teachers want the children to wear slippers? Tick one. Now, it's really important with a multiple choice question that even if you think you know, you read all of the answers first, just in case it's a little bit of a trick. So the first one says, because the children move more quietly in slippers, because research showed that it could improve their grades, or because the children kept getting cold feet in the classroom. And what we have to do, because it's a retrieval question, we have to see if any of the options we've been given have any keywords that we can find in the text. So does it say in the text about them moving more quietly? Does it say in the text about improving their grades? Find it in the text if it does. Does it say anything about cold feet in the text? You've got to find it. Remember, you can't just know it, you have to show it. So prove it. See where you can find the answer in the text and retrieve it. The next one, question 2, says the teachers, and then we've got our speech marks, our inverted commas to show that this is taken from the text. The teachers pitched the idea to the pupils. What do you think this means? Okay, you might have an idea about this one. You might want to talk to your grown-up a little bit about this one. The teachers pitched the idea to the pupils. Go back and find where it says that. Find it in the text and read around it and see if you can have a think what it might mean. It's a phrase you might not have heard before. Okay. Now this one is another retrieval question. It says, copy the sentence that describes what has changed at the school since slippers were allowed. So you've got to find not a word, a whole sentence. So we're thinking about what has changed. Okay, so it might not have the exact word changed, but I know that maybe in one of the quotes they were talking about things that might have improved or changed after. Copy the sentence that describes what has changed at the school since slippers were allowed. And you've got 2 lines to copy that answer down. Question 4. How do the children in the article feel about wearing slippers to school? Well, we had a quote, didn't we, from one of the pupils. So you need to find that section in the text and see if you can copy down how it says they feel. How do the children in the article feel about wearing slippers? And I think maybe the head teacher or the deputy head might have said something about how the children feel. So see if you can find that one. The last one then is your opinion. Would you like to wear slippers at school? Why or why not? You've got 2 lines to that one. You need to say, yes, I would, because, or no, I would not, because. You've got to back it up with a reason. We can't just write yes or no. Yes, I would like to wear slippers at school because, and then think of a reason why it might be good. Or no, I would not like to wear slippers at school because, think of a reason why you might not like it. Only 5 questions today, but they are getting a little bit tricky now. Okay, so maybe have a chat with your grown-up about them. Thinking really carefully, remember to get your pen or your pencil ready, going over the text to find those answers. Okay, I'm sure you're going to do a super job. And then we are going to have a think about a challenge. And I have pinched a little phrase from the article. So your challenge says, imagine something that you would like to be different at school. Write a few sentences to pitch the idea to Mrs. Beckett. So at that school in the article, they changed to wear their slippers at school. What ideas might you come up with that we could change at school? Maybe you could write a few sentences about it to see if Mrs. Beckett might go along with it. Okay, have a super job. Have a super job, do a super job today in your learning. I'm sure you will. I look forward to seeing your answers to these quite tricky questions today. But to know you're going to do a good job because you've been blowing us away with your answers to comprehension. Me and Mrs. Wood can't believe how super your reading and your understanding has been. I'm sure you're going to try really hard. Hopefully you enjoyed that article and hope to see lots of super ideas in the challenge. Well done, you two. Have a super Monday and we'll see you tomorrow for some more learning. Well done, bye-bye.